Hello everyone, my name is Leslie Sargent and I chose to do my presentation over stress, which is also chapter 11 of our textbook. What exactly is stress? Stress describes the physical, emotional, cognitive, and behavioral responses to events that have been deemed as threatening or challenging to us. This definition can be found on page 420 of the textbook. In other words, stress is our body's way of reacting to something that is a challenge to us. It's how we respond to events that aren't what we expect. Physical problems associated with stress include fatigue, inability to sleep or insomnia, or even sleeping too much, frequent colds, chest pain, and nausea. This picture on the right shows a picture of Willy Wonka saying, this is really a meme, this did not happen in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, but he's saying, "Oh, you only got 8 hours of sleep? You must be new here." In college, getting 8 hours of sleep is very rare. I don't see how people do it and get good grades when I barely have enough time to even eat 3 meals a day. Emotional problems with stress include anxiety, depression, fear, irritability, and anger or frustration. This is probably a picture of a mom who's stressed out because her kids won't shut up, her boss is demanding her to do more at her job, stuff like that. Mental symptoms of stress include difficulty concentrating, remembering things, or even decision making. Mental symptoms also include losing a sense of humor. Generally, I'm a pretty funny person, but when events like the picture shows happen, I get a little bit stressed out. This picture was taken after a girl on the opposing team accidentally rolled her ball onto our side of the court and gave me a smile and walked away. This was the night of a county championship, which was a pretty big game in our high school career, because it was our third year in a row eventually winning it. But I was not amused because the two of us had not really been fond of one another for years, so I knew it was completely intentional to try to get under my skin. Long story short, she ended up getting a technical foul, being ejected, and I left the game with a smile on my face after all, because my team had gotten a three-peat. But you all must be wondering if you are normal if you stress, and the answer is yes. Most people experience some sort of stress on a daily basis. College students especially are more likely to experience stress because we've got work, school, money, all of that. And we all know USI loves to have our money, so we need to work to make that money, but we also need to do well in the classes that we're paying for. It's important to note, though, that we are all different. Why is this important? Some of us feel the effects of stress more than others, because what one person appraises as a threat could be appraised as an opportunity to succeed by another. Long story short, it's okay to be different. We all deal with stress differently, so just remember this song by 2 Chainz when you feel like you're the only one who stresses in life.
I'm different, yeah, I'm different. I'm different, yeah, I'm different.
Alright, now that we've got that out of the way, what exactly are stressors? Stressors are simply stress-causing events. There are 2 types. Those that cause distress, which occurs when people experience unpleasant stressors, and those that cause eustress, which is the optimal amount of stress that people need to function well. Distressors include hurricanes, fires, losing car keys, rude people, or even a death in the family. Eustressors include getting a new job, getting married, having a child. And this isn't a picture of a baby, I know, I just found it on Google, as many of you have done with your PowerPoints. It's just a really cute baby. There are physiological factors in stress, and the 4 sources of stress include pressure, uncontrollability, frustration, and conflict. Pressure includes something like your parents are pushing you to do well in school, so you feel like you're constantly having this pressure on your shoulders to get all A's in class and make the dean's list and do everything your parents want you to do, but yet you want to have a life too, so you just don't know what to find the balance between. Uncontrollability involves you having no control over the situation and you feeling like it's not going to end the way that you wanted it to. Frustration is a negative effect of stress, and it causes you to get angry at little things. For instance, your boss tells you to finish an assignment, yet you can't get it done, so you get frustrated at a coworker and say that it's their fault that you didn't get the project done that your boss asked you to do. When in all actuality, it was you stressing because your boss asked you to do something that you couldn't do. And then conflicts they can be between a spouse, a friend. We've all had conflicts with someone once in our lives. The effects of stress on the body. Stress causes the immune system to react as though an illness has been detected, which then causes the immune system to increase its functionability. This makes sense because when you're sick, your immune system works even more. So when you're stressed, it's causing your immune system to act like you're sick, thereby causing you to feel sicker and sicker, when in all actuality, if you were to be less stressed, you wouldn't feel as sick. And as stress continues to pile up, the body's immune system could begin to fail, which could then lead to types of illnesses associated with stress. There are heart disease, which is coronary heart disease or a buildup of plaque in the arteries of the heart. Type 2 diabetes, which is the most common type, but there's also type 1, but I'm just going to talk about type 2. This can be in any age. This is why I put this family photo of someone I found on Google again. But there's a little boy who could have type 2 diabetes, but then there's also the grandpa. Type 2 diabetes is not caused by stress, but stress thereby elicits it to become more prevalent in someone's life. Usually type 2 diabetes is a cause of things like obesity, genetics, or other hereditary factors. It just depends. And then there's cancer. Stress cannot directly give someone cancer, but it can cause the immune system to suppress, thus allowing cancer cells to grow more rapidly. This picture just shows an example of what types of stress women and men can get. Like, men cannot get cervical cancer because we don't have a cervix. That's another anatomy course that I won't go into here. There are personality factors in relation to stress. The types of personalities that I'm going to talk about are type A, type B, and type C. Type A people are workaholics. They're competitive, ambitious, hate wasting time, and they're easily angered. This type of personality definitely describes me. All my life, I played sports. I was a straight A student. I'm very ambitious. I'm involved in a lot of organizations here on campus. But then I easily get angered if things don't start to go how I planned them to go out, which is why my agenda is my best friend. We all know those people. Yeah, that's me. Anyways, the other types of people are type B, which is an easygoing type of person. We've all seen these type of people. They're not easily angered. They just go with the flow. They're not generally competitive. These are usually your B, C students. They don't really want to push themselves much, but they want to do well. They want to do better than the bottom, but they don't want to try as hard as the people at the top. Type C people are overly pleasant. They tend to internalize their anger, are very pleasant at all times, try to maintain peace in hostile situations, and do not let stuff get to them. These type of people are very rare. I rarely ever see someone who doesn't stress about something in their lives. Because let's face it, we all deal with stress, but it's how we deal with it that describes who we are. And then there's the other personality, or type H, the hardy personality. This term was coined in 1979 by Suzanne Kobasa. These people have a deep sense of commitment to their lives. They feel that they are in control of their lives, and they often turn challenges into triumphs. I chose this picture to explain hardy personality because it shows that the buoy is balanced in all directions. Those who are type A personality seem to, quote-unquote, have it all together. Again, this is very, very rare at our age. Not often do you find people who aren't stressing about money, aren't stressing about grades, aren't stressing about relationships. The whole 9 yards. Usually, someone is stressing about something at all times. And then the other personality traits that influence stress include optimists versus pessimists. Optimists tend to look for the positive in any situation. An example of this could be, I studied as much as I could for that exam, so I'll take the grade that I got and I'll do better on the next one. Whereas pessimists seem to expect the worst always is going to happen to them. These type of people will say, I'm going to have to drop the course because I failed that test, or this class is so hard, this teacher is going to ruin my GPA, when in all actuality, if they just put forth a little bit more effort, it would probably not be as bad as they would have expected it to be. Optimists have a 50% lower risk of premature death and more calm, peaceful, and happy than pessimists are, which is very accurate in a sense because optimists aren't stressing about the little things in life. They're more focused on what's going on in the present versus what they can do in the past. The past is over in their eyes, but the pessimists always rely on the past and they focus on what they did that affects who they are. There are social factors that influence stress, and these include poverty, job stress, culture, which is minority versus majority. Those who are in the minority experience more stress because the majority is more dominant in society than those who are the minority. They often get more jobs if you're in the majority, whereas the minority stresses about getting jobs. An example of job stress includes being burned out or negative changes in thoughts, emotions, and behavior as a result of prolonged stress. A personal example of this includes my life. I'm a CNA at a nursing home here in Evansville. I often work long hours. Everyone always calls in, and the nurses always complain. Every employee that's worked there has been there for far too long in my eyes. They often get mad at the residents for little things, which is just a deterioration from how they're stressing out about the job that they have, so they're trying to take it out on something that is potentially causing them stress, when in all actuality they should probably be getting a different job. Ways of coping with stress include social support groups, which are like mini friend groups. You get together with a group of girls, or anyone for that matter, and you just talk about how you're dealing with stress in life and everything that life's throwing at you, all of that sort of stuff. There's also meditation. Things like yoga often help people who are stressed. I know I personally have taken yoga before, and it makes you want to fall asleep. And then if you're on campus at USI, there's also the USI Counseling Center, which is found on the lower level of the OR Center. And they can help you with anything you need, whichever you need help with. And stress is an important part of our lives, and they help you to cope and deal with those stressors in your life in a positive manner versus bogging down in a negative manner. And then to end this presentation, I want to end it with this corny little picture that says, stress spelled backwards is desserts. This serves as a reminder that things won't always go as planned, but if we understand that sometimes things are out of our control, we can relax and maybe even have a little cake to celebrate the fact that we did the best we could.